Welcome back, everybody. In this tutorial I'll be going over some of the basic options you can change in Firefox to personalize it and maximize your experience with the browser. Let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and open up a window which I've already got up for Firefox, and from here I'm going to go to the right hand side where it says open menu, and here's where we have the options available. Now I'll be talking primarily about the options, but I do want to touch on a few things here before we go forward. We've got at the top here cut, copy, paste, which you could do here on the site, and right below it you've got the zoom in and out, which if it's too small you could always zoom in. You could see it better, or if you want to fit more within the viewing space, which is this area here, then you could zoom out and capture more data. Now of course the text is going to get smaller, but if you're looking at images or a video, maybe you want to zoom out for that reason. Okay, let's go back to 100%. So here you've got a new window you could open up. You could also open up a new window here, but it's a private window, which is a little unique. You don't see this on many browsers, but here it's an easy way to open up a browser that doesn't store any of your personal information, browser history, search history, download history, and so forth. So it tells you basically what a private browser is. Go ahead and close that. Save a page, print it, and history. It just shows you a listing of the history of the sites you've gone to recently. Go full screen if you want. You can find something, go options, and then you've got add-ons, which is pretty cool too. These are additions that you can make to the browser to make a process easier. Maybe you want to do this YouTube one, or do keywords. There's a bunch of little functions here and there. It's kind of like if you're using Windows, for example, it's like the calculator tool in your operating system. It's something cool that helps you do some specific function. Close that. And there's also the developer area, but we're not going to touch on that with this video. Let's go to the options for now. Okay, so under options we start off in a general tab. Here with the startup, some of the first things we can do is change how it starts up and the home page that pops up. So when it starts up, you could show your home page, a blank page, or all the pages that you had open the previous time that you were on the browser. So if you're like me, by the time you finish using the browser, doing all your searches, you've got 5-10 different windows open. So you really don't want all those to pop up as soon as you start it up. Why? Well, it takes time to load all those pages. Why do you want to spend, I don't know, anywhere from 10 seconds to a minute waiting for all these windows to show up? Just start fresh, don't make it complicated. It's just go to the home page and we're good to go. If you really want to though, go ahead. Feel free to change it. Just be aware that it's going to take you more time to load everything because it's so much information that's coming through. Okay, so your home page, you could change that too. Now, right now, it's set to the Mozilla Google homepage, but I could always change this to Google if I wanted to. Just type in the address. Hit OK. And there we go. We're on Google's page now. So, next thing you can do here is you can specify where your downloads are going to go. So there's already a folder created for you where it saves it. It's called the downloads folder. You can browse to see where it is. Sometimes it's pretty buried, so what you want to do is create a folder that's easy to access and you know where it is, so you could go into it whenever you need to. So something you could do is specify exactly where it's going to go. So something easy to remember is something on a desktop. You could always create a new folder, have it in the desktop, and have it reference that folder. So let's do that now. I'm going to call this Firefox downloads. Created. I select the folder, and there we go. So everything that downloads is not going to go into that folder. Something else you could do is you could have the browser ask you every time it's about to save a file where you want it saved. So it's just another step if you want to do this, but it's up to you. It's something cool that it allows you to do. Okay, so I'm going to skip over a couple of these because they're more for advanced users. What I do want to talk about is the pop-up blockers. So right now, it's going to block all pop-up windows. You can make exceptions to that, which basically means you could create a rule saying, for this website, I don't want anything blocked. So let's use Chase, for example, banking website. If any pop-ups come up, I don't want them blocked. So here's my exception. I'm going to allow all pop-ups from chase.com to be allowed. So there we go. You can do exceptions for that. Here you could also change your font and color that's going to show up here on the websites. It's defaulted to Times New Roman 16. You could change it to whatever you want. You could change the language as well. But for most of us in the US, I mean, you probably want to leave it to English. You could change it to something else if you'd like. It's up to you. Okay, not going to go into this one. You don't want to mess around in this area if you don't know what you're doing. Do want to talk about privacy though. Here you've got tracking information. So you could select one of these options. Right now it's set to do not tell sites anything about my tracking preferences. Or you could tell it right here, tell sites that I do not want to be tracked, period. So either one, I'm going to set it to that one for now. Below that is the history. So you could have Firefox remember history, never remember history, or use a custom setting. So likely you're going to do one of these two options. So for me, I'm going to do never remember history. And it's just telling me that it has to restart it to enable this feature, which is fine. Let's restart it. There we go. Let's go back there. And let's go into security. So here, you've got a couple options. Warn me when my sites try to install add-ons. Just a warning message. You create exceptions as well. So for these two, it's not going to warn me. This is something that was defaulted already. It's not going to warn me about any add-ons being added. It's just going to do it automatically. And here it's also blocking some sites that are known to be suspicious or sites that will attack you, so it's already got that blocked. Passwords, you could always create a password here, master password if you want. I don't want to create a master password. I'm going to leave that alone, so let's move on. In advanced, I'm just going to touch on a few things here, not too much since we don't want to get too deep into this. We don't have time for all that. I do want to talk about the general tab here, advanced general, that is. And down below here, this is where you set your default browser. So it's already checked off that Firefox will check to see if it's a default browser. If not, it'll prompt you when you start up, do you want to make this a default browser? So here it tells you it's already defaulted, which you could make it a default if it's not. And the next item I want to go to is updates. So here you could tell it how to perform its updates. Right now it's set to automatic. You can never check for updates or check for updates, but let me choose whether to install them. Whichever one you like, you could go ahead and select them. But for now, I'm going to leave it there because I like it to automatically install updates. I want it to be as up to date as possible to prevent any attacks from hackers and so forth. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you for watching, and feel free to comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. You can do this to view more tutorial videos. Thank you.